Okay, is it working or not? Is it working or is it not working? We don't know if it's working. Ah, here we go. We're here. Sorry. Let's see if we manage. All right. Where's the chat? All right, we are live. Okay, we wait a little bit, like we wait a second to see if people, first of all, are joining, if they hear me. Yep. What happened to the chat? Ah, here we go. There again. I'm not sure this is working, honestly. I'm not sure. It's like this is refreshing or something. Well, we're gonna figure out in a little bit. Got some water right there. Here in the Netherlands is already 9:20. It's 9:20. I just wanted to do a video. I found this very nice, interesting page here where some lovely soul, which actually I don't know how to thank, because I don't know who did this. Gotta figure it out. And so there is a list of more or less everything that is out there. Now we have covered a lot, and I've said this many times, like I'm not per se like a gossip channel, but I got quite invested in this whole trial the more I started to look into it, because of the obvious, like when you see like an obvious injustice and you go like, oh, wait a second, this is wrong, this feels wrong. So I've been looking into other YouTubers, which they do a great job covering this. Really, there are some amazing guy out there doing all of the covering with the expertise, law expert, and all kinds of other expert in the fields of like behavior or like doctors, psychiatrists, or so on and so forth. So, but I'm trying just to put together some of those things myself here, just to share the truth, what we believe to be the truth. And there's another couple of days. I'm not 100% sure, but I suppose probably starts on Monday again. The beginning of the week, working week. And here probably is going to be the afternoon, like around 4. So we're going to do that. I think I'm going to cover it for the next 2 weeks, at least probably the first 4 days of the week. Live together. We'll see what's up, But I just want to first of all, I want to come live and just talk to you guys. Let me see if there's people in the chat, because I want to thank people. Yes, okay, I understand chat, but can I see my chat, please? Can I enjoy watching the chat together with my lovely audience? Guys, can you please tell me if you hear me? I know, I'm sorry, like those things probably should be covered. Hey, Rodrigo, thank you so much. Thank you so much. Thank you so much for the new audience and also the old audience, which you always been there. So, I don't forget, don't worry. So It's like so many of you supporting already for years. So I don't know if it's my phone, but I don't see nobody in the chat apart Melanie and Rodrigo. Maybe the people are starting to join. Is it visible, like the screen? I hope it is for you guys. Hey Brandy, how you doing? So anyway, maybe we can just start, right? Thank you, Melanie. I really appreciate that. So I found this beautiful document online when I was going through Reddit, and hey, ciao, Harkesley. Thank you so much, Katya. Here we go. Nice to see you guys. And so I was going through Reddit, and I found this document compiling of a lot of stuff, and actually it's really nice if you want to have a little bit of an overview, especially now that there's been this week of pause, and now we're gonna have another couple of days, and then boom, we'll see if this pause was actually beneficial for Johnny's team, or was beneficial also for her team to prepare for the cross-examination. I read some articles that probably, like, you know, this pause actually most likely hated more her side than Johnny's side. So thank you guys so much, Rosa. Thank you to everybody. Compliment, you know, for sharing the greetings of the 400k subscribers. Really grateful. Really am. So yeah, I'm trying. Sorry guys, I'm trying to read and respond and continue. Hey Red, nice to see you. Lao. Well, you know, I tried just to have an overview on stuff, you know, like I want to understand, and I'm usually very careful to jump too early into judgment and conclusions about stuff, you know. But in this case, like, there seems to be so much evidence against this woman that it's undeniable. I've said it in many videos. I have no idea how Johnny lost the trial in the UK, but probably for the same reason, you know. Like, I'm not an expert on law, and like I said, there are incredibly great YouTubers out there doing this, covering also this part of the trial with their law expertise and trial expertise. And of course we think like, this is so obvious, why it is not brought up into court? And then we learn, you know, that only certain documents are allowed depending who brought those documents. I've learned also that from her side she was supposed to bring in evidence that to be probably redacted or extracted by the forensic of Johnny's team, and there were complications because of they were trying to extract those documents from hard disk or whatever with unlicensed programs, and that screwed a little bit the metadata of pictures and so on and so forth. But yeah, this doesn't look like it's the first time that the metadata is screwed on pictures, and we're gonna go through that in a moment. So there's so much that we are learning, but we think about laws, you know, in a way like, oh, it's like straightforward, but it's not. There's all those things that protect both sides, you know, in step by steps, in the way that you do deposition, in the way the lawyers, they try to get where they want to go with the accused, or, you know, the defendant, and so on and so forth. It feels like sometimes all kinds of strange merry-go-round, and for whatever for whatever reason, the evidence that was provided in the UK didn't seem to be enough for Johnny to win. Even though, let's remind ourselves that that suit was against the newspaper, so her ex-wife wasn't gonna, wasn't facing any charges or whatever. So here it's the same thing. It's a civil. It's a civil case. It's not anything more like something criminal, or we say penale. I don't know. I don't know how to say the right word in English. So I suppose that most likely, also in this case, even if Johnny wins, there are probably not immediate consequences to her. I understand that there is this, perjury, but I don't know if that can be decided in this trial, or you got to start something all over again from somewhere else. I don't know exactly how that works, but yeah, most likely it seems like they're not gonna go. She's not gonna go towards any trouble. It seems, at least. Correct me if I'm wrong. I might be wrong, but yes, I don't know. We will see. Now it's only 2 weeks, and so yeah, I have high hopes that all this evidence, some of this evidence, it's also presented next week, or going over again in the next weeks, so that the jury can see through the BS and make the right decision. But I don't give it for granted. I really don't give it for granted that the win is already in the pocket of Johnny's team. So, all right, guys. Wow, we are 164. That's great. Really, really nice to see you guys. The sound is low. All right, let me see if I can. Let me see. I'm gonna put a little bit higher here my audio card, and then let me know. I just didn't want to clip. All right, guys. Just before we continue, let me know if the audio is any better now. Let's see if the audio. Esmeralda. Yeah, some people seem to have problems. I don't know if it's just because through some phones or headphones there is a limit with the volume, and I hit that limit. Well, we are 180. Oh, this is the freaking problem with my audio card. Sorry, guys. I apologize. I have this new audio card that usually I use for recording music, and I think it's set on mono, and I haven't figured out yet a way to bring the signal like in stereo. So I hope it's not too much of a problem for this time. I'll try to figure out maybe for next live, at least ready for when we do also the trial. Litsi can hear me well. Thank you so much. Blue Moon, Blue Lemon. Guys, it's really a pleasure, really. Like I said, I'm not necessarily a gossip channel, but I don't know. I just always had a soft spot for Johnny Depp, like one of those great artists of our time. And like many of you, I've always admired him from very early on. Like from, literally from when he started 21 Jump Street, which I actually also happened to like when I was a teenager, like was the right age to watch that stuff. And then I just liked him, most of the movies afterwards, of course. So, oh man, this thing always does something strange. Just a second. Oh man. So I was saying, like, I found this link through Reddit of a lot of documents compiled, and it's very interesting. I don't know if I can uh, later on. Maybe I'll put the link if it's possible, because it's, I don't know how I got here through Reddit and then brought me here through Google Documents. I don't know, but as you can see, there is a list of all kinds of stuff, and it's very interesting because we have the list of incident. You see here, like, the early 2012 2013, the tattoo incident, which she also said was the first time that he ever slapped her, because apparently she was just making some remarks about a tattoo, and it seems to be such a monster that he just snapped and slapped her. Like, it's so strange, because everything she says seems to be like completely incongruent with how things actually seems, or like everybody reporting the opposite, like a guy that it's absolutely mellow, kind, relaxed, soft energy, and all of a sudden this guy snaps on her. I always find it very difficult to believe those things, because I do get you can argue that people change. That's true. People can change to a degree, but your character, if you're temperamental, or you're not, that's not something that really changes. You just probably learn a little bit how to behave differently, but you don't change to a degree that you become softer when you were temperamental or something. I doubt it. So I've said this many times. There will probably be a trail of wreckage if Johnny was really like this violent man, for especially because he's been using probably recreational drugs for quite some time. So I think there will be like a lot of info left behind. Then we have the 2013 incident, the disco bloodbath here, and I was reading, where is it? Like here, Johnny slapped me. I walked away from him, and then made it worse. He grabbed me by the arm and kind of just held me on the floor, screaming. I don't know how many times he hit me in the face, and I think this is where they show the pictures also of the. I think it's the picture with the old iPhone, if I'm not mistaken. There's this picture where she shows a bruise, and there is this, like somebody pointed out that she's making a picture with this old iPhone, which is like an iPhone 4S or something. I actually have it myself here, and that would have been. Like, the metadata is not shared, but that would have been much before she was probably dating Johnny. So it's interesting. We got here like this whole list of stuff, but I want to go up here again where you see like the list of Amber violence, and this is very interesting because when you click on this, on the first link here, I already put it right here. You see like this picture of her being like with the bruised lip, and it's very interesting because then immediately, first of all, already TMZ here seems like has debunked this picture because the metadata was from like 2012 or something. Here says, you see, confers metadata of the bloody lip was set before first supposed violent incident. And then you have like this Reddit link here where they show that she's like already also in the trial that we just watched, she's like prone to do this with the lip, and I know some people actually that do that, especially when they get dry lip. Some people try to peel that dry part of the lip off. It's a thing, that some people can have. And it makes total sense. I know that you add a contest or you can put things in contest through pictures and text. I get that, but this seems like like you can literally do it yourself and then take a picture and and put it into context whatever you want to, you know. And it seems that that's exactly what she did. So so I think we saw this one here, and this is a picture from the Met Gala, where supposedly, well, actually I don't know, was this the Met Gala or was this is the evening of Don Rickles? I remember that they went to I don't know if you guys remember this American comedian, a really funny comedian. It was called Don Rickles. It was like a buddy of Frank Sinatra, and there was like the like the probably the golden age of Los Angeles, Hollywood. It was called Mr. Warmth because he was always, you know, pissing everybody off basically, or at least, you know, being that kind of grumpy, offensive kind of comedian. But I always thought he was so incredibly funny. And I think this is the evening where they either participate to celebrating Don Rickles, or maybe I'm wrong. Sorry guys, because I'm trying. Let me see how I have to do this. Or maybe I have to move a little bit on this side. Ah, here we go. Sorry. Here I am, a little bit more in the center. So anyway, I was saying this probably, it's like the Don Rickles evening. No, this just says that it's the Met Gala 2014, where she's supposed to have a broken nose. Well, doesn't look like she has a broken nose to me. So what do we have here? Following Lady Victoria Harvey commenting that Amber Heard beat up Tasha and expanding on it. Okay, let's check this out. Let's see what it says. Oh no, this is I know what it is. I think I was. Here we go. So we have Lady Victoria Harvey, and I suppose this is her Instagram. I don't know if this is still there. I assume it is. And she's stating, don't defend her. She's a horrible person. Wow. She used to beat the crap out of her ex, Tasha. We used to go to the same yoga school I go to and show my teacher. She's vile and pathological liar. Wow. It's so amazing that, like I was saying before, if something it's there, you know, especially in today's age, some stuff is gonna come up, and in this case, like a lot of stuff comes up around from people around this person, you know. Yeah, this I know what it is. This is basically, I think this is after the divorce, and she filed for a restraining order against him. But then we also learned through the trial that the ex-manager Carino, if I remember correctly, Carino in Italian means cutie. That's that's what it means, Carino. So he said that he was the one organizing a meeting, that she wanted him, Carino, the manager, to organize a meeting to meet Johnny in San Francisco, despite the fact that she was the one filing the restraining order. So that meant that Johnny was not supposed to meet her because could have gone through legal, you know, like, I don't know if you can go to jail, but definitely you're breaking the law. So, wow, guys, we're 400 of us. That's awesome. I think I beat a record. So this audio is an extract from that meeting, which I already put in another video also. And
she goes to his hotel room in San Francisco, where she asked to see Johnny Depp. Now, the restraining order says he has not come within 100 yards of her, and yet she turns up on her own to a hotel room where he is. the tape recording was made by her, not by him. He wasn't aware of it.
Do you love me? Do you still love me?
And one of the first things she does is to ask him to hug her.
Is this how you want it to end?
I don't want to.
Is this how you want it to end? I don't understand. Is this what you want?
Yo. Oh, no, a hug will save it all. All this, everything you just been
I just wanted to touch you.
through. Really? After all this shit you just said?
I just wanted to give
After
you a
all this
hug.
shit you fucking accused me of? You want to touch me?
Please stop. Please stop. Please, I just wanted to hug you to say bye. I wanted to end that.
We did that last night.
And he says, why on earth would I want to hug you when you said all of this shit about me? Which was a reference, obviously, to the allegations which have then been made public.
I gave you everything I did. I did everything I could do to make you happy.
Wow.
It wasn't. You don't want to get right.
I wanted you. I wanted you. I did. I wanted
Oh,
you.
you fucking love me, but you don't fucking love me.
I used to love you so much.
Yeah, you used to. You know what?
I am.
Well, keep it in past tense, kid. Call it, write it off as a mistake.
Wow.
Mistake.
Wow. This
She
is like, you know, like I've heard this already.
Hotel room in San Francisco.
Sorry, guys.
Where she asked.
I've heard this already a few times, but it's still like so crazy. Especially, I don't know. First of all, it makes me sad because I think like, wow, this guy really tried. And you can also hear at the end how he gets hurt when she says like, I used to love you. Like, first she asked him, do you love me? And he goes like with that soft voice, like, yes, like, you know, like all of a sudden that love, it's resumed within him, you know, that ability to see the good in the other person, despite everything he went through, despite already the abuse, despite the smearing which was already taking place. That guy is still managing to dive deep within and try to get the best out of him and see the best out of her and say like, yes, I still love you. And then immediately she slaps him in the face like, I used to love you, you know, and then he gets hurt. It's, you know, I'm not a psychiatrist, so I understand that a person that probably has personality disorders or some kind of other undiagnosed disorder, it's probably difficult to manage. And sometimes I also have the feeling, you know, I feel pity for this person because you have the sense that there are moments of lucidity, you know, there are moments perhaps where that, you know, they see for a moment the bigger picture. Maybe there are moments of empathy. I don't know exactly how that works, but they don't seem to last very long. And then, you know, she sort of goes back into being basically a mess. And yeah, and in this short audio you can hear all of that. You know, you can hear the person that it's like somehow is trying, for whatever strange reason, after all she has done, she's trying to get some kind of affection or contact with him, and she's asking for his love, but at the same time she's denying him her love and just, you know, telling him like, I used to love you a lot. Wow, it's so incredibly messy, really. Like that audio only already showcases like the complexity of having to deal with somebody that it's in so much trouble mentally. It's insane. Guys, just for a moment, I'm gonna go through the messages because, you know, thank you so much for being 600 of you here. Mercedes is saying this type of personality disorders are devil. One just can mentally, not physically, deal with such a burden. Well, I have to agree with you. You didn't hear the audio of that video? Oh, that's strange. I thought that the audio was. Did you hear the audio from the clip in San Francisco? Hey, H41, nice to see you. Okay, so great. Yes, I see. I actually just watched the video of the Law and Lumber, and yes, woodworker attorney. Yes, I saw the video and I find it very, very interesting because he's basically he has an understanding of wood, which can come in handy, and he saw the frame of the bed where the incident was supposed to take place, and we know that in the front a part was chipped, and she claimed that he was forcing her onto the bed, forcing himself onto the bed, probably pushing with his feet, like doing leverage on the rim of the wood, and apparently by forcing with his feet, with his boots, he managed to chip off part of the wood. And he explains that basically that it's impossible for that kind of wood, especially in the position, in the length of the grain of the wood, that there would be no boot that would be capable to create that pressure and that grip that can go through the grain of the wood and then chip it off. And he also shows how with the knife basically you need to go through the grain of the wood and then exert a force to pull to basically chip some of the wood off. So yeah, and he shows also there's something on the bed that I don't know if it's a screwdriver or knife or whatever. So definitely makes a ton of sense because that's probably exactly what happened. And now we get to that as well. Like the incident of the what it was like the 21 of March, or was it April? Let's see, incident list. I think it's the one, yes, the 21 of March, the one I think where they called the cops. There are the 2 phone calls, and yeah, we have the body cam and everything, and we see that in the penthouse number 1, I think the main penthouse of Johnny, there was really nothing out of order. So yeah, that's really disheartening to put all those things together, and then you wonder in what kind of state this guy was to allow this to happen. You know what I mean? What is this? Let's see. Oh, this is that's a knife, knife. This I read. I think this is was something to do with I don't know, some exchange of messages. Violence against women. I think this is probably the article regarding her first domestic abuse thing. This is, I think, her ex-wife, and she spent the night in jail. What is interesting about this story, which already many of you know, is that when this happened and she was arrested, she sort of claimed that the cop that arrested her was she hinted at the fact that maybe the cop was homophobic, and then it turns out that actually the cop that arrested her was a lesbian. She had a partner. What a thing! It's like nothing was right for this woman. Very interesting. So yeah, there is stuff out there, and I also read today. While I was making a video, I was going through this video of this amazing YouTuber called Incredibly Average, and he shows some part of the video, the exchange of messages of between Johnny Depp and the father of his ex-wife, basically. And you see that the tone, it's not the type of tone you would expect between like a father that knows that her daughter is being abused by a man, you know? Like, if a father, I don't know, I also don't know this guy, what kind of relationship has with the daughter, but I assume that if you know that your daughter is being abused, you have that doubt, you don't have that kind of friendly manner interacting with basically with her ex-husband, you know? And the exchange is actually quite polite and amicable. And John is just letting out the steam and telling the father that, you know, he doesn't deserve this, that she's pulling basically this crap on him, which is untrue. And the father responds basically by saying, like, yeah, but you know what? It's the lawyers that are forcing her to do it because they told her that otherwise she would have 30 days to get out of the apartment. And Johnny responds like, it's not true. She has all the time she wants. She didn't have to go this way. And that alone, that exchange alone, man, tells you so much. I mean, really, like literally, there is no need to go through all that it's out there to make up your mind. You really need just few things, and you go like, wait a second, this is already, it's not adding up, you know? It's just not adding up. This is not the way it works, I suppose, between somebody that you claim being a monster, an abuser, somebody that it's literally like out of the blue snapping and punching you in the face, slapping you in the face, backhanding you, giving you a headbutt, like, you know, it just doesn't add up. So you really don't need too much to check this out and through all this data that it's available, honestly, you know. You can very quickly make up your mind. And this is a recent thing that I found, which shows that I think this was at a fashion show. And it shows, like, you know, of course, those things can be all taken out of context, of course. And you see that she has, like, bruised knuckles. I have to admit also, she seems to have the type of skin, you know, she has some kind of redness here, a little bit blush here. There are some type of skins, you know, some type of skins that are very fair that, you know, like you just touch them or something, you know, like that immediately you know, react to touch also, you know, so feels like she has that type of skin. So I don't know also on the hand if that's the case, but I see that there is one finger or two which they also scraped a little bit, so that's kind of suspicious. From the audio, I have to admit, from the audio that I heard so far, I mean, there is still that 4-hour audio that I still haven't been able to go through. I don't know if in this 4-hour audio there is also some which we already covered. I don't know yet. There's so much stuff. But from the audio I hear, like literally all the time, there is a posture, there is a mannerism, there is an intensity in the tone, especially when it escalates, that to me never suggests that it's somebody that is trying to de-escalate a situation with her abuser. Never, absolutely never. Again, I'm not an expert, but when I listen to the audio, I just have the sense that it's a person that knows very well that he's not going to react, he's not going to hit back, so that she can get away with a lot of verbal abuse, and she has to do really a lot before he start really to kind of, you know, calling her names, and literally, basically, I think the angriest I've heard Johnny Depp being is actually the audio, which they also played in the trial, where the Scottish, I think it's the Scottish bodyguard that also testified that in Australia he basically went in because he heard a ruckus in the house and basically took Johnny from the altercation, where he basically lost the tip of his finger, and then you hear him walking down the stairs. I think he calls her like the C word or something. So he was really upset. I think that's the most upset. And then I'm like, wait a second, the guy just freaking lost part of his finger. I would be so freaking pissed, you know. So in that way, like probably in that moment, the C word was the least of the offenses, honestly. So guys, we are like 700 in the chat. So nice, so lovely. Let me go just a second to say hi to Virgin, Diva, MV Freedom, Ellie Chick 71, Jackie, Esmeralda, Litzy Slim, Me God, Blasian, Fernandinha. So guys, so much. Thank you so much for being here. And now Amber is not beautiful. Well, she wasn't ugly. I mean, you know, she was kind of a pretty girl. I mean, in that way, but she's probably like really like a sort of poster child for don't judge a book from its cover, but in in a negative way. You know, like the cover is very nice, but the content not so much. So, what is this? This is says like here, the female assistant. Okay, this we already checked. Let's see, this is. Well, this I have no idea if it's true or not, because there is also not a name of the person. This can be absolutely utter speculation. But apparently this is a mechanic that was working on her car. So, and this is a statement from the mechanic. On one occasion I had the most unusual and unsettling experience with Amber Heard. After installing a new sound system in her Mustang, she asked me to visit her at Broadway. She wanted me to instruct her on how to operate the touchscreen and to teach her how to interface her iPhone. Sorry. And with the onboard system, make hands-free calls, map driving instruction, content list. Okay, all right. When I arrived precisely at the appointment, she came basically down after 3 hours from the penthouse to the parking garage. After she came down, we found the Mustang. She got in the driver's seat and I in the front passenger seat. She seemed to be in a very happy mood. We spent a moment exchanging greetings. She then said something weird. Oh, here we are alone together in a parked car in a dark parking garage. We could do anything in here and nobody would see us. She added to that statement. However, I'm uncertain today of what exactly she added. I was speechless and did not make any reply to that, nor did I make eye contact. She was wearing a white t-shirt and a denim jeans and a dark shoes. My only response was to say, okay, let me show you how the sound system works. I mean, you know, this, you make of it what you want. I mean, you know, don't know if it's true or not, but "2019, a private investigator hired to dig up dirt on Johnny Depp found none." Alright, Vanessa Paradis character evidence saying Depp was not violent and was a good partner. This we also know. Vanessa Paradis, she's been famous for a very long time. Oh, this is Penelope Cruz. But Vanessa Paradis was the partner of Johnny Depp. They've been together for 14 years. She's known, she was a, to my knowledge, I mean, I remember well. I mean, her songs back in the, I think, early 90s or so, or late 80s. Now, I don't remember precisely. But she was very, very young, like pop star. She had a couple of hit songs which were famous also, like French hit songs, which they were famous also in Italy. probably not in the States, but in Europe quite a lot. So she was a well, she was a famous. She's been famous in France for quite a long time, I suppose. And they've been together for 14 years, had 2 kids, and they probably know each other for longer now. And I think that type of relationship that lasts this long, that you get to know somebody so intimately, with all their quirks, with all their idiosyncrasies and stuff, it's quite telling. If somebody, again, was very temperamental, for sure after 14 years or more, some of that would have come to surface. So it's quite a legit kind of support, matter of fact, especially coming from an ex-wife that probably, I don't know exactly how their story went, but coming from her, I think has quite some validity. And here we have Penelope Cruz also supporting Johnny. I've seen Johnny in so many situations, and he's always kind to everyone around. He's one of the most generous people I know. During 6 months of my first pregnancy, I spent every single day with him while we shot Pirate of the Caribbean. My husband and I, Javier Bardem, the husband of Penelope Cruz, another incredible actor, I will never forget the sweetness, protection, and kindness he treated me during every single step of that process. I love both of them, both Penelope Cruz and Javier Bardem. For some of you that perhaps are not too familiar with early works, they did a lot of movies, especially Javier Bardem. Both of them, actually, they did movies with Pedro Almodovar, which is an incredible indie director. Probably some of you know Pedro Almodovar. And Javier Bardem also did movies with Bigas Luna, another director. I don't remember if it was Jambon, which they were already, they worked together, the two of them. And Penelope Cruz, of course, also worked with Pedro Almodovar. Todo sobre mi madre. That was a beautiful movie. Yes, a Spanish director, really lovely stuff. I see that some people, Jambon. I see that a lot of people know those things. That's great. I remember, the early days of, I think, the movie of Bigas Luna, Golden Balls, where I saw Javier Bardem, and also in some of the first movies of Almodovar that he stars in. I go like, wow, this guy is a freaking amazing actor. That was before the time he basically went to Hollywood. I love cinema, so I've been watching movies for a long time, especially in my 20s, in my teenage years and early 20s. I was really into all the kinds of indie cinema, Russian director, Polish directors, French directors, the Nouvelle Vague, Truffaut, Francois Truffaut, and all of that. But mostly cinema from everywhere, European cinema, American cinema, of course, Eastern cinema, Japanese cinema, Chinese, and so on and so forth. So, it's a very interesting to see, like early on, all those artists, even Antonio Banderas also started with Pedro Almodovar before becoming really big in the US, So anyway, guys, let's go back to the timeline here. Let's see if there is anything I have to answer in the comments. Andres Ingeversen, I'm out because of your mono audio, only hear you on the left. I'm sorry, man. I'm sorry that pissed you off. I'll try to fix this. I will figure it out tomorrow. Nico, it's a pleasure. Thank you so much for the support, of course. Fernandinha. Thank you, Fernandinha. Well, yes, Scrawny, the incident in Australia is so incredibly telling, man. I mean, was actually crazy. Really, really crazy. I also found this picture here, which I think this is another strange debunked thing, because they show like this picture. I think it was provided as evidence. What is it? Provided as evidence. Show as evidence by Amber Heard in relation to the incident in Australia. Show among a series of other photos to back up her claim that JD went on a rampage overnight and cut his own finger off while she slept. Yeah. And they show the outlet of the electricity, which they're from basically from the UK, and also this water bottle, which apparently it's supposed to be this, actually makes sense, which is a brand of spring water that it's UK based. Most likely another lie. Yeah, you see UK style plug, not Australian, not the thick pins. Yes, exactly. So I also find very amazing that, I mean, like, if the metadata of those pictures are not available, I mean, you can just make of it whatever you want, of course, Like, this stuff should be available, should be transparent, should be accessible. Otherwise, you can just say whatever you want. This is the video of the attorney. Yes, this is the video of the attorney we saw. I explained before. Yeah, this is the water bottle we just checked. It's something else. What is this? This is probably supposed to be. What is it? This is supposed to be the room where the Australian incident happened, and this is supposed to be the wall. Also worth noting that every single photo of the house, including bedroom, has a wooden base board, skirting board around the edge of the room. This photo submitted by Amber Heard does not have that. Yeah, that's amazing. That's like really everything it's in plain sight. So this Australian house basically as a baseboard skirt following all around the hedge here, everywhere, in the kitchen, in the living room, around the island. And this is the only place where the wine and everything is thrown, which the skirt is not there. It's so amazing, like all those details that are available. Australian person debunks book cover Amber says she saw. This is from the video of Incredibly Average. So this is a picture of Johnny. First of all, what is it, like cute dinosaurs in the soft cast after the incident. And it's very interesting because when you look at this picture, right, and there is that incident, that famous incident, I think, what is it, like towards the end? Let's see the list of incidents. The stairs, probably 21 March 2015. This is when this is, let's see, number 9. Let's see. No, I was trying to, because sometimes I mix things up. I don't remember which one is the event where Johnny Depp was supposed to be pushing her sister Whitney from the stairs. Maybe it's this one of the 21 March, and that was the first time allegedly that she punched him to defend the sister, basically, which is also being well, you can say debunked, but the security of Johnny that testified on the road said that he actually had to get in between her and Johnny Depp because basically she was harassing him, and she basically punched him while the security was in between the two of them, and then took Johnny away. And it's very telling because this is supposed to be also the time he has a soft cast. Well, at least looks like a soft cast. I don't know if that wrapping is hardened. It looks like it might be a soft cast. I don't know. Probably there is anyway inside like a type of framing around the finger. It's typical to give some structure to the cast. Otherwise, like it would just fall on the finger. It will hurt. So definitely there is a part of framing in the front. But basically, this guy that has a finger that hurts, he got a finger infection, and it's supposed to be basically punching her with that it's absolutely insane just to think about it. Because if you have like an infection and you have a cut and like you have stitches, probably that finger is pounding. Probably the guy was taking some medications to get the pain away and the pounding away. You know that you get that kind of like beating into the wound, which is not very pleasant. So I find it highly unlikely that this guy would just willingly smash his hand on anything, considering they would probably like even a small vibration cause pain, So again, another detail that disproves most likely that he threw any punches. Most likely he was trying to get away from being arrested, and that's what he did. Wow, guys, we are 153. That's awesome. Yes, and he's right-handed, so basically his hand, the good hand, so to speak, it's basically out of order for a while. The MRSA can be very, very, very dangerous, also those kind of streptococcus infection or something like that. They can be really, really strange because they can get in you, and you basically can lose a hand or a arm, or even you can just freaking die. So it's not something to take lightly, I don't remember like what it was, the makeup thing. Yes, there was also there was the makeup thing, which has already been talked about quite a lot. That the lawyers in the trial stated that she was using this brand of makeup to cover up her bruises from the abuse she received, and then it turns out that this brand of makeup, at least that type of color or shade or whatever, was not even invented. Was not even out yet. So yeah. So Johnny Depp character evidence. We were there in Australian incident. This one we saw yesterday, the video, the body cam. One thing I don't understand is why don't they have like a better body cam, those cops, you know what I mean? Here we have some videos of different YouTubers. I'll try to share this link. I don't know if I can share this link somewhere. I don't know if I can put it. Well, you know what I do? At the end of the video, I'm gonna copy and paste this link, and I put it in the description, in the comments, so maybe you can just go and check it. Older Reddit, what is this? Oh, this is just an older Reddit. Amber saying she was a fan of Depp and liked what she said at the trial. I say it did not. What is this? Jody at the time of the first TM there saying no cops actually showed up at the penthouse, and therefore I was lying. Jody, my publicist, asked me for the business card, which I understood I had to give to my team anyway. I gave her those business cards, so I cannot say whether someone acting on my behalf also shared the business card to TMZ when they were calling me a liar and saying no cops came. Mrs. Laws, I suggest it is inconceivable that you would not know whether it was leaked on your behalf. Is it not? No, there was nothing to leak. This is probably from the UK trial. Okay. You know, another thing that I find absolutely freaking amazing is that all this audio leaked. And to my understanding, it's probably like, hey, Dan, thank you so much. I'm just in, there is something wrong with your sound. Sorry, Dan, it's the sound is only on one channel. And I will try to figure out tomorrow to put it in stereo. I apologize, guys. I really do. I just wanted to come online and spend some time with you guys, also with the new audience, to share some thoughts, and also thanking you for the support, and just to chit chat a little bit in those other couple of days before the trial starts again. But tomorrow I'll try to figure out, I promise. No, I haven't watched The London Girl. I haven't watched yet those new unseen pictures from Amber Heard. I will try to find it. Otherwise, leave a link or something. I can make a video. We can do some digging up. Yeah, sorry, Dan. I know that they told me that there's only on one channel, the audio. Yes, of course. There is also this other thing that now we know that it seems that all of a sudden Johnny probably kind of had a moment of clarity, and he decided to do a post-nup. And if my understanding is correct, it's actually this happened in Australia, probably, right? Was it in Australia that there was this intention of doing a post-nup or something like that, and she got upset, probably? User is editing out Amber face, Amber being a disorganized mess, Amber parents noting Amber lied to get TRO for money. What is this? I had to cut some parts out so I fit in the 15 minutes mark. What is this? I feel physically ill watching Amber testimony. This is my story of abuse without all the fake crying and theatrics. See how a real victim speaks versus narcissist liar Amber. So this is the testimony of a real abused. Well, I don't know if you want to watch this for 15 minutes. Also, probably will make me sad. But I mean, honest to God, I can already tell, from the face of this girl that she's going through some stuff. Poor thing. Yeah, this is another also main point, about this, which I have also shared before. It's really upsetting that perhaps this started out as I would say some kind of scam, like maybe, when things were brought too far, she realized that she had to get out of the wedding of marriage, something, and therefore, like maybe even organizing with the friends or pushed from the friends this idea, you know how people can be manipulated or manipulate each other in believing stuff. Maybe they suggested, like, you gotta get out of you got to get something out of this, things are going sideways, so you're gonna get something out of this. And by putting something on record, like the phone calls and the cops showing up at the door, and you start to have something on record that you can use later on against, JD for the divorce, to get something extra out of it. It's not unfathomable, like, to think that something like that could have taken place, And the sad part is that you start to go in that direction, and then you don't realize you take it too far, and then all of a sudden it's too late to go back, because once the allegations are out, once the article of this op-ed is out, once the smearing of JD, it's done, it gets fired and the damage is done. And then she started to be like a spokesperson for the Me Too movement and the abused victims and so on and so forth, ACLU and all of that jazz, then, like, you start to believe in your own character that you have created, and then you're forced to keep going. You can't stop. You just can't stop, because you're believing in yourself, in the lie that you've created, and now it's too late to go back on your steps. So the only solution is to keep going and to make it even more exaggerating. So I honestly think that this next week also of cross-examination, it's going to be absolutely crazy. It's going to be crazy. There's going to be some kind of meltdown, more strange acting, overblown acting. And so in that way, it's going to be, to an extent, of course, exciting in the way of seeing, like, oh, wow, how this is going to pan out, like what other strange, weird thing we're going to hear. Honestly, especially when I was listening to the last day of her deposition, that she was on the stand, and there was so much strange acting. Like, she seems like she's unable to do emotions, like she's some kind of droid that hasn't figured out yet how to express human emotions, and she's kind of like, my dog step on a bee, like, the meme now that it's going everywhere, It's like, looks like she doesn't know how to do emotions. That's freaking hilarious. And the internet, of course, immediately is having a feast. And yeah, I mean, I was disturbed because the recollection of so much sexual abuse also, she was talking about this basically guy that feels like it's not him, like this guy is soulless, a man that has basically lost his soul, that is capable of all this heinous thing of just pushing her against the wall, pushing her head into the wall, and then all of a sudden start to finger her, and finger her with a bottle of vodka or something, trusting. And I was like, whoa, lady, you're going far with this. Wow, there's really, like, we passed the point of no return. Like, when I was listening to that claims of, like, the bottle of vodka up her skirt, I was like, Jesus, seriously, man. Like, this is going way beyond the point of no return. So when I heard that, I realized, wow, this woman, she has no limits. She's just gonna play this to the fullest. She feels no shame. She's basically unhinged. Like, she has no boundaries. You know, like, she can just keep lying and tell all kinds of stupid things. Like, wow. I was absolutely... Actually, that's the part that shocked me the most, I have to say. Yeah, I was actually watching. I was watching the painting. Well, painting. I mean, I say paintings because I thought about it as a painting. The stuff on the mirror. Let me see. Like, let me see if I can find something here. Mirror. Let's see, there's like the painting coming out. Let's see. Oh yeah, this is something that I wanted to discuss with you guys because... Okay, this is the part of the painting. Well, I say paintings. I don't like. I explain in a second why I say paintings. I know that JD loves Basquiat, which used to be this American artist, was part of, well, was friend with Andy Warhol. He was, you know, like in that kind of 80s scene in New York. Very interesting artist. I also like this kind of very urban graffiti style of paintings, combining, you know, like very expressive with graffiti and writing and a lot of raw drawings as well. And I know that JD also probably owns some Basquiat. So they allege that this was taken after he chopped his finger off, but I think in the audio you can hear also from that audio that it's on Incredibly Average channel, the YouTuber. You can hear in that audio that she says something to Jerry, the security guy, the bodyguard, that was done in the morning, when referring probably to this thing on the wall, on the painting, on the mirror. And I was just wondering if Johnny Depp was upset before in the morning, and he just expressed himself on the mirror, you know, like he let some frustration out on the mirror, scribbling, like Basquiat would do. And it's strange that nobody picked up on that, because I always hear like, oh, he did this after the finger or something, and he started to do something around. Maybe he was in a moment, you know? Like, we see that Johnny is an artist. I am a painter myself. And for me, it's totally imaginable that he was going through a moment that he had to express himself, and he just took something and wrote something that was frustrating him on the wall, and then, you know, the red part, she claimed that she has nothing to do with it. And probably here, as you see in this picture, it seems that first of all makes total sense, because the Cole Carly, she said it better, babe. She's referring to what Johnny wrote, that something about being vain and liking herself, taking a picture of herself. And the writing in red is referring to a song of this Carly, which most likely was written by her. And you can see that probably this guy has put some other part of another text which belongs to her. So anyway, I was just wondering if the first part of the painting, you know, was not necessarily immediately connected to an argument, but maybe some altercation, but maybe in the morning or something, Johnny was frustrated and he wrote something on the mirror. You know what I mean? We got a super chat. You should watch that Umbrella guy has been talking on this since the UK trial. He does good work too. I actually just saw a couple of videos. I'm watching videos from the Popcorn channel. Like they do great. Of course, they're much more eloquent than I am, and they do a way better job with guests and everybody. And like I said, I got interested into this mostly because of my love for Johnny Depp, you know, and also for the injustice that I'm watching. So I got triggered by the videos of Incredibly Average, that he put it together so well that you go like, you know, just the spark goes on, you know, you go like, wow, this is messed up. How did I not know this, you know? And why are not people paying attention to this? So that's why, you know, you try to share something. Oh, so Marilyn Manson rewrote a Carly Simon song. I'm so vain. All right. Thank you, Sia. So yeah, so I was looking at this picture and I thought, like, you know, nobody picked up perhaps on the need of Johnny Depp to scribble on stuff as a way of just letting out some steam or something. Another thing that always bugs me is also, actually, I don't know if this is here. There was one part which there's a picture of which is supposed to be taken Australian again, and actually on the table there is stuff that is a UK magazine and some other thing from the UK suggesting that perhaps that picture was taken not in Australia but in the UK. Yeah, I'm really not surprised about all the lies. But one thing that bugs me is that on the trial especially, you know, she was behaving so much as if Johnny Depp was the only guy that was doing drugs, and, you know, like she was a saint, that she never touched anything. But it seems like almost that in every video we hear they're drinking. And she was drinking too. And then we realized that she liked this expensive wine that costs like $500 a bottle. Yeah, that's probably why when those news about Johnny Depp spending $30,000 a month on wine came out, probably she was costing him $30,000 of wine. If a bottle is $500, right? If a bottle of wine, it's freaking 4 glasses, you know? A small bottle of wine, usually 750 milliliter. It's like less than a liter. I don't know how much it is in a gallon. Like it's really nothing. So it's like at the most 5 glasses. So you can literally spend like $1,000 a day with 2 bottles of wine. If you have like another 3-4 liches living in your house and everybody's drinking from the cellar, like it's really not unfathomable to think that, you know, like it's actually not that difficult to get to $30,000 of wine a month with wine that is that expensive. There's wine that is even more expensive. We got another super chat. Don't knock yourself. You're doing a great job. Thank you so much. You have 800 people that find you interesting. Man, thank you so much. I really appreciate it. This is actually a record for me to reach 800 people in the chat, in the live. So I'm really grateful. I'm really happy to share this with you guys. So I'm looking forward to the cross-examination, honestly. There was something else I wanted to find before. I already watched. So is this one here? So this is an image. Basically, I think it's a It's a picture where she was doing something for a movie that she was in. I think, what was it, The Danish Girl? And basically, this is the 6th of April. And she's supposed to have like injuries to her feet. But apparently she can dance very easily. Yeah, I honest to God, I think, you know, people like that, they're so caught up in their delusions that they don't even keep up with whatever they left behind. Probably they're you know, there is deniability. They're in denial all the time. But nowadays it's so hard to do so because so much stuff is just out there. And this is the double-edged sword of social media. I mean, if you don't cancel your post and stuff, they're just there. They're just there and people can find out, you know? So, hey, Miss Blondie, thank you so much for the super chat. Thank you for shedding light on what many true survivor of DV lived through. Love and peace from New Jersey. Looking forward to watching the cross-examination with you and your caring subscribers. Thank you so much. I look forward to, actually. I really look forward to. I have to admit, I'm also a little bit worried. I'm a little bit worried because, like I said, I don't give it for granted. I'm not a law specialist or anything in that way, but we all understanding that there are all these loops and things about the law that, you know, you just cannot give it for granted. Not all the information is there. Not all of it is accessible. Not everything it's, you know, they're going to go through with it. So at the end of the day, it's just a jury made of people and they can be influenced in both directions. That's what at the end of the day comes down to. And yeah, in a way, it's actually quite crazy. And if I understand correctly, also JD can lose also, if I remember reading this correctly in the chat or somewhere in the comments, that he can lose also by one juror. So I don't give that for granted. And again, you know, like it's already a mystery how he managed to lose against the Sun in the UK. But in this case, it's bigger because if he loses, they're gonna just, you know, like they're, you know, her camp, her team, herself, you know, she's gonna go like victorious out and wear the badge of the abused that managed to win against the defamation that she was brought onto her, and the smearing campaign that everybody, like, you know, YouTubers or other people which were convinced that she was not innocent, carried out against her, you know. So there's going to be all that kind of jazz, and also the mainstream media is going to have like a field day with that, because the mainstream media has never been on the side of JD, and especially in this heightened time of overall correction, you know, in those things with the Me Too movement and the sensitivity, the heightened sensitivity for the LGBTQ plus community, which is all fine and good. Don't get me wrong, it's all fine and good. But in that kind of atmosphere, the mainstream media, you know, they're running that type of narrative. So nowadays, if you're a guy that is speaking for a guy, you know, you're already sort of immediately put into the kind of niche of manosphere, like, you know, like they say, which is totally BS, because, you know, you just try to be on the side of the truth, you know. If I had any doubt, like if I had a really serious doubt that JD was an abuser, I will be standing on her side, you know. But so far, everything that I've seen, yeah, it's just, I'm not convinced. I'm really not convinced that that guy has ever actually, you know, you can argue that he had issues, sure, You know, a lot of people have issues with drugs, prescription drugs. Actually, a lot of those artists have those issues. I mean, it's really uncanny. Sometimes people forget those people are just people as well, and they're under pressure to perform, under pressure to be always in the public eye, and in the end of the day, are just people like me and you. You know, they have bowel movement in the morning if they're lucky. You know, they go in the toilet at a reasonable time, not forcing themselves too much, because hopefully they have enough fiber and water, because constipation sucks, right? So there's just people like me and you. It's just that they live in a reality where what they give in terms of performance or what they create, it's loved by many, and therefore they have that privileged position, both economically and in terms of status. But they're just people. They're just people. They need a hug. They need affection. They need to chill out. They need, you know, all that kind of stuff. And actually, listening to those audios of JD, you know, in a way I feel sorry, because it feels like an intrusion into their lives, you know. In a way you wish just this stuff was private, because I you know, if you step into their shoes, you go like, wow, this is so private, you know, to listen to JD talking about love, being vulnerable with this soft voice, you know, and you go like, wow, this guy, you know. So those moments are not supposed to be there for everybody to hear, and here we go, we're just, you know, going through it. So in a way I feel a little bit, sometimes you feel a little guilty, conscious of that intrusion. But on the other end, it's also extremely valuable. It's actually quite valuable, because later on, what it's being left out of this, it's going to be the human factor. And by that, I mean like that kind of relatability that is so true and authentic, and it's an access into something that it's never been so public as it is right now, you know, getting to a life of such a high profile character in our society, you know. JD is one of the most well-paid, famous actor of the last 20, 30 years, you know. There's just few people which have that spot, you know what I mean? Like, it's like Elon Musk, just to make an example of another like wealthy man that it is so well known, you know, like Leonardo DiCaprio, Tom Cruise, you know, Johnny Depp, like Brad Pitt. It's like there is just very few of those humans in our time which they manage to be in that kind of position, you know. So that comes with a lot of stuff. So it's also the first time that we get to have this window, and then we realize that through all that we're watching, at the end we're just meeting a man, we're just meeting a woman, we're just meeting people like me and you. And there is a big lesson there to learn. I think there's something that can be quite valuable for a lot of people to learn from, you know. Sorry guys, I'm just reading also your comments because I don't see them on the screen. So I take a pause sometimes. Love from Brazil. Love back to you and Brazil. Brazil, it's been, and it is very good to me. So many of my followers are from Brazil, from South America. So guys, thank you so much. I wish I spoke, you know, Spanish and Portuguese. I wish I spoke more languages so that I could just switch in between. Hey, we got from Finland, Marie, nice. Yeah, I mean, like I went on a tangent, I probably lost the thread. But yeah, anyway, like there's something, definitely something we can learn out of this, and at the same time, I think if he loses, it's gonna be bad for him in the way that it's gonna take still time for this to wear off and get to the point where companies or brand, they will be comfortable hiring him again, which is a pity, of course. I don't think he's in financial trouble. You know, he's probably still plenty wealthy, but that's not the point. I mean, if you have learned anything from people which they have, you know, like ambition in life or whatever, it's that they do it for the ride. They don't only do it for the money. So it's a pity not to see Johnny in other movies. I mean, I have to be honest, I've never been a super fan of the franchise of Pirates of the Caribbean. Actually, I wanted to start to rewatch it again because I don't remember too well. I always been a fan of Johnny Depp before, really. Like, you know, you think, I think of Johnny Depp, I think like of Dead Man, you know, a movie of Jim Jarmusch, or like Donnie Brasco, you know, like I think of that kind of movie. Blow was alright, but I think Donnie Brasco was so much better, you know, like Dead Man is such a little masterpiece, if you ask me, you know, like such a great movie. So that's what I think when I think about Johnny Depp. Yeah, I think there might be only one movie that I haven't watched. I think it's the movie where he's like this Hollywood director that he liked to dress up as a... Yeah, there is actually also a movie that he also plays a queer, and there's Javier Bardem also in that movie, and it's actually a movie of Julian Schnabel. Julian Schnabel, which is a very prominent New York artist, also part of that kind of Basquiat, Andy Warhol era of the early mid-80s New York time, right? So Julian Schnabel, it's a huge artist, and he did this movie on this Cuban, I think, author. Now I forgot. Before Night Falls, is it the name of the movie? I forgot the name of the movie. And Javier Bardem is the main character, this Cuban writer that I think moves to New York. And JD is playing a part in that movie as well, as a queer woman. So it's pretty wild, weird movie as well. Fear and Loathing, of course. Hunter S. Thompson. I've talked today about this relationship with Hunter S. Thompson. Crazy writer. Like, wow, that guy probably... I mean, with that kind of friendship, no wonder that JD kind of got stuck a little bit in addiction. I mean, that guy walked around with the drink everywhere he walked. I think he made like Charles Bukowski look like an amateur when it came down to drinking. Oh man, what a guy. I recall watching this documentary on Hunter S. Thompson. I don't know if he lived in Aspen. I think he lived in the mountain. I don't know if it was Aspen, but he was also involved in the community of the citadel of the city, and he was trying to run for mayor, I think, in Aspen. I recall watching that documentary. It's been a long time ago, though. I don't remember the details. Yes, I actually started to watch the first episode of the Pirates of the Caribbean yesterday. And I have to say, like, I thought, like, oh, this is fun. I'm going to pay a little bit more attention, you know? So I'm going to go through them again. Hey, Tamers, thank you so much for the super chat. You want to see a little known movie with JD? The Man Who Cried. He has a smaller role, hardly talks. And it's a scene here in this... well, this movie I don't remember. The Man Who Cried. Well, maybe I do. I have to check. Do you also know the movie that he directed himself, right? The Brave. I think that's the only movie actually he's the director of. And there is also a cameo of Marlon Brando. And they became good friends. I think Marlon Brando saw in JD something of him. And I think Marlon Brando is also the reason why JD actually owns a Highland. Because Marlon Brando also owned a Highland. I don't know if he owned the Highland in the same archipelago, but definitely was an inspiration for JD to buy an island. And by the way, if you have never watched, there's this documentary on Marlon Brando, I think, Talk to Me Marlo, it's called, if I'm not mistaken. It's a beautiful documentary. You should definitely watch it. And the reason why I think Marlon Brando decided to work with Johnny Depp on The Brave is because they did Don Juan de Marco. Oh man, now I just remembered, I loved Don Juan de Marco. I was a teenager and I just loved Johnny Depp. You know, I sort of had a little bit that kind of haircut with a tiny mustache, you know, like he had. I was a little bit in between like Hat and Hawk from Before Sunrise and Johnny Depp when I was a teenager. You know, I was trying to mimic that look. So I remember I just loved Don Juan de Marco. It's a little bit like light-hearted comedy, but it was a fun movie. Actually, I don't know if many of you know the movie, but it's a fun watch. The Nine Gate, I think you're referring the movie with the Polish director, right? Which is also, it's also been disgraced. Roman Polanski, right? You're talking of the Roman Polanski movie. Yeah, that's also an interesting movie. Yeah, I remember that one. A lot of you ask me, guys, I'm Italian. I know that my accent, it's not necessarily what you would have expect from an Italian. I think it's a little bit of strange hybrid accent because I lived here in the Netherlands, in Amsterdam, for 20 years. I don't speak Dutch, but I also have American family. My sister lives in New York. So I have family in New York, you know. I lived in New York a little bit. I lived in LA also a little bit. I actually saw the Eastern Columbia building with my own eyes. I was underneath there in 2014. I was with a friend of mine. I've said this in a video. I lived in LA in the end of 2013, early 2014. I had this brief relationship there. It was fun time. It was interesting times. I remember seeing I didn't know who they were, but because I knew of this Kardashian woman, I saw her and Kanye West walking in Cahuenga Avenue, like this road on Hollywood Boulevard, and I didn't know those people. They're kind of like small people. And then they were followed by all those other paparazzi, and then I realized who they were. I remember meeting Moby, like this other artist, doing a art gallery exhibition, preparing for it. LA, it's a weird place. But I enjoyed it. I remember enjoying it. There's a lot of strange, flaky people, but it was also quite enjoyable. I loved the weather. I loved some of the energy. But I have to say I love the New York more. So I'm a New York lover. Ciao Fernanda. Ciao. I don't remember the movie The Nick of Time. Actually, ciao dall'Italia. Ciao ragazzi. Oh wow, that's interesting. Desert Samurai said Secret Window is a scene where a Johnny Depp character kicks his wife in the back, and most likely it's where I think Hamburg got the boot in the back story. Yeah, it's really crazy to see like that. Seems like there's a lot of stuff evidence that suggests that she probably is like kind of taking stuff from movies or other people, which I think is kind of weird. Honestly, it's kind of weird, right? This is the statement of Vanessa Paradis that before we missed, that she wrote May 27, 2016, Los Angeles. Yeah, that was actually a beautiful statement that she wrote. To me, that would have been already enough to kind of, believe, not to believe in the allegations against JD. It's really hard because in nowadays society, it's very easy to believe that the man is always at fault. And I don't know, like, if the trial would have taken place in California, if would have been much worse probably for JD. probably would have. I read some documents regarding also when the legal team from her side was demanding that they would speed up the process of the divorce, and also which judge to choose. That they listed like 3 judges. I remember reading this document. Now I forgot, but probably some of you have read it as well. That in the not claims, but in the demands that they made from her legal team, there were like those 3 judges to choose from. And it's also very telling that, the thing that I find also very disheartening is that it is possible that the lawyers, when they see that there might be a payday, because they think like, oh, she has a good chance to win. So let's push for the divorce. Let's push to get the 50 a month and the 2,000 for clothes and the 2 apartment in the penthouse or all the penthouses, because probably they saw that it was possible that she could win and they would get paid by JD. So yeah, there is that, that they can influence a person in taking the wrong road. But I think that there was some premeditation there already for a long time, There was some big premeditation. And especially actually when you hear the last audio that I posted before at the end, right? You hear that there is that very spiteful behavior towards JD, like this swing between being coy and at the same time lashing out at him almost in the same 5 minutes. And that was actually quite frightening to listen to. But from that, you kind of have this sense that this woman, she's being spiteful of him for a long time, And sometimes it gives me the sense of somebody that perhaps got into this relationship for the wrong reasons, and then what she was expecting to materialize in her life because of this great connection that she has through this great man, right? It didn't come to fruition. It did not happen in the way she envisioned it, She did not make like those 2 gigantic movies that perhaps she wanted to make, and all the attention that she wanted. She got Aquaman, but it's a minor role. So things didn't work out perhaps the way she wanted, and she started to resent him more and more and more because she wanted to be the star of the couple, right? Not this old fat man that had a drinking problem and prescription drugs problem. So I think she started more and more to resent him, to the point where I think you really can sense in the dialogue that she has a moment that she literally cannot stand him breathe, And then at the same time, it's also super frightening because, especially in the last audio I posted, you have this part where she wants the glass that he's drinking something from, and then she gives it back, and then after a moment, JD started to slur, and you go like, what happened here? You know, like, was he already on something before she came in and was drinking, and then that took effect, or she did something to the wine, and all of a sudden he's kind of dozing off, and then in fact he does doze off. She goes somewhere else, comes back, and then asks him if he's okay, which is super weird. Really strange, weird interaction right there. You know, like, I'm like, wow, this looks like as if you took two parallel universe of the same people, but they basically are two different people, two different characters, and then you paste it together. You know, like, it makes no sense. It's like you're watching two different stories. And I'm like, what? It's so incredibly weird. And I've said this many times. I think honestly that the drinking problem of JD and probably the drug use probably was most likely exacerbated by this relationship, that he could not make it work. And you have to think that those people know each other since 2009, so they've known each other for quite many years. 2010, then the movie came out, then supposedly when they were doing the tour of the movie, the press tour of the movie, I think he made these advances. Then they started dating in 2012 or so, and or 2013. Then they married 2 years after, and then they divorced 15 months after. So they had some time together, and you can hear also at the end of those audios that we heard, right, especially the one in San Francisco, how defeated he is, you know, like how hurt and defeated he is, that he really tried in any way to make it work, to stay, not to give up, to try to give her every second chance that he could give, you know, and it will get worse and worse and worse, to the point that in the end, the reward that he got out of trying to make it work was basically destroying his life and reputation, which is amazing. You like, literally, that guy shouldn't have given, you know, like, you know what, I'm maybe I do some kind of like I want to say changing room, how do you call it, like changing room talk, you know, like where the guys they change before they go to play football or something, you know, like maybe you should just have, you know, messed with her for like whatever time and just move on, you know what I mean, like some kind of pass-through lover, and that's it. Because sometimes people, probably you don't have to have too much sympathy, and that's probably what James Franco did. You know, another thing that actually surprised me is that most likely those two, James Franco guy and her, they were probably intimate already for quite some time. They were quite intimate already for quite some time, and you don't feel comfortable to go to somebody's house, you know, especially to the house of you know, like of this guy, you know, like you go to her house knowing that it's the house of her husband, and you don't do that if you don't know very well the dynamics of this couple. You know what I mean? Like you need to know quite some stuff in order to probably feel comfortable to go like, hey, I'm gonna come at your place, you know. So you got to know each other a little bit for longer. That's what I'm trying to say. So most likely, I totally believe that she was having an affair with that guy. So guys, in regards of the recording, what I seem to understand is that she did a lot of the recordings, but there is also a time in this relationship where it's mutual. I think they both know there are audios, and it's proven also in the last audio that I've shown that when she says like, hey, you scrolling on you're watching your phone, but you basically it's blank, there's nothing. And he says something like, yeah, but it's because it's recording, I'm doing this recording thing. There is many audios where they both are aware, and the reason being is that I think they were probably doing some type of therapy. It's very common, at least it's been common for quite some time. I remember already when I lived in LA, there were those talks about, couples doing this sort of therapy session where they would just leave a phone recording so that they could check the dynamic of their conversation, the dynamic of their interaction on a day-to-day basis, so that they could just go through it and learn from it. Because of course, in a way, it makes quite a lot of sense. Sometimes you don't see the dynamics you are trapped in when you get triggered by your partner, when you talk to each other. So by recording and being able to go through it again, you can learn a lot, actually, if there is the willingness to use that in a therapeutical manner, to do therapy from it. So I think they were trying some kind of therapy, and some of those audios probably were never meant to see the light of the day, honestly. I think that I don't think all the audios were meant to be shared, and I think some of those just happened to be shared, and some other probably were premeditated, probably some others, like the one in Australia that she lied about, that she said she did not record, but you can clearly see in the audio that she basically went there, and at the end of the whole conversation that we hear Jerry doing on the phone, and then she just gets out of the room and basically turns the phone off. So there is that. But anyway, yeah, it's very possible that maybe she's undiagnosed with something, like being a sociopath or something. I don't know. I mean, like I said, I'm not an expert. I don't know. But you clearly see a lot of times a lack of empathy, and that's never a good sign. Somebody that you when it's so obvious that there is no sympathy or empathy towards your partner, like there's really a big red flag right there. You only see that kind of like behavior when something affects her, like that is something that it's jeopardizing her security, economical security, or her security. And in fact, we heard several times when they were arguing in the audios where she's referring to, like, her security. And I think she literally talking about, probably the security, not that she feels unsafe, for her life or security in the way that Johnny Depp is just gonna go off with another woman. I think she wants to have like a security that she's being taken care of. Just a second, guy. I have to change the battery. I think the camera turned off for just a moment. So we got again. Sorry, the camera turned off. It's disappeared for a moment. Here we go. That was quick. Lloyd Gabriel. No one gets diagnosed being a sociopath. Sociopath is a kind of slang term for something called antisocial personality disorder. Yeah, like I said, like anyway, if you see like lack of empathy, it's yeah, it's a crazy. I think it's a big red flag, honestly. Oh man, there's so much stuff out there. It's crazy, really. Like what is this? Oh, this probably we already saw. This is the cosmetic thing. The Milani cosmetic that they show that the correcting kit was launched in 2017. Oh, that's quite something, eh? I don't know what this is, honestly. So now we have another 2 weeks. We have another 2 weeks of yeah, like another 2 weeks of pain. It's my understanding that they seem to have still like 20-hour plus each or something for their testimonies and cross examinations and so on and so forth. So yeah, so she can be cross examined, and then there is also a redirect again. Like, so it couldn't be that she's gonna talk 3 times basically, or the cross examination is the end for her. I'm not 100% sure. Honestly, I'm like, wow, do we need to get more hours of this woman talking, going through strange details? Oh man, it was so weird also to listen to the so many weird details about stuff that makes absolutely no sense. You know, I was like, so it's like really when somebody's making up stuff and you know that, you know, like all those details which they're useless, they don't just make the story more believable. But apparently she believes that that's the case. Oh my god. So I'm just imagining what the hell are we gonna go. If the lawyer of JD are good, we might see a breakdown on the stand right there. So like there could be like some tipping point, you know, some really big tipping point. But like I said, I don't expect this person to back off. The lawyer last time, they did try to get the sue, the trial, you know, the whole thing dismissed. But the judge, you know, didn't accept that. But now it's too late, really. I mean, the damage is so big. Like the public opinion, it's the majority is swaying towards Johnny Depp. So, yeah, I don't see how she's gonna benefit from this, you know? I really don't. Like, everything is tarnished, you know? Like, again, like I have to recall that phone call we reviewed of Johnny telling her, like, you know, now it's too late to clear up your name. Now it's too late. It's out there, you know? She's worried about her image, and he's telling her, it's like, hey, you know, This is your choice. Now it's too late. And this is already years ago. Now, like, I think, you know, because of the UK trial, there was only transcripts, and there was no public like it is public this time. Yeah, we didn't really have a clear grasp of how it happened and what was happening, and people also paid less attention, me included. I paid less attention. But now I think probably JD really wanted this to be public, because he thought, you know what, you want this, you want that attention, all right, here we go, so that everybody will see actually who you are. And it's quite amazing to see, like, we reposted on the channel some of this resurfaced video from the UK trial where she's being cross-examined, not in front of an audience, and you see how the mannerism is completely different. It's actually unsettling. Her mannerism, the way she behaves, the way she moves the eye, the way she reacts to the lawyer, you know, it's really quite telling of somebody that it's belligerent, combative. She's spiteful of authority to that degree. She doesn't seem to see in herself any fault, you know? So she has that mocking attitude towards people questioning her, which was quite revealing for me to watch. I was like, whoa, this woman smells like crazy from like this far. I mean, I'm just looking at the video and I'm already like, wow, run, that's it. You know, like... there was nothing you want to do with this woman. And you see the difference of behavior when she's standing there, that she's basically running the room, making sure, you know, looking at the audience. She's looking at the judge, at her lawyers. She's constantly sort of seeking for validations between those looks back and forth to the judge, to the crowd in the audience, to the jury all the time. She's addressing them. Also, when she talks or a question is being asked, she's sort of like there checking, and you can really follow the gaze and see that she's checking them out, you know, also individually. It's like those people seems like they try to understand from the clothing, from the look, something, you know, like something of the character of the person that they have in front, trying to do some kind of cold reading, you know, to be able to maybe adjust. It's like they're trying to tune themselves to the people that they're seeing in the crowd, so that they can, you know, craft this kind of manipulation, behavioral manipulation, I would say, in order to win them over, you know. But to me, that whole thing was so exaggerated, you know, that everybody saw through it. And I think the jury has to be absolutely insane. Like, really, they have to be some kind of incels to not to be able to see through this. I hope, I don't know what kind of, you know, I'm not qualified, but I don't know if they just randomly take people unqualified to be a juror. I hope that at least there is some degree of people there, you know. And I'm not saying that you need to have a PhD, but at least like somebody that has some kind of, you know, propensity in any shape or form, you know, in understanding how those things work. Wow, guys, we are 855. That's really awesome. You know, guys, I actually, I'll see if tomorrow I can post this. Today I did also a video. I haven't edited yet, but I was going through all the memes that I could find of this trial, and there are so many funny memes actually that we'll see tomorrow if I manage to edit it and share it with you guys. And there were some funny memes, and there were also this video like I saw of Rihanna, the singer, which I didn't know. I didn't know this video, and she's talking about her abuse with her ex, and she's referencing him like somebody, that blacks out, like his soul wasn't there, and when probably was snapping out on her. And then you see Amber Heard like describing, Johnny was all black, I couldn't see him, and it really feels like an exaggeration of that other interview from Rihanna. I mean, it's I find it really strange. And also through those other memes, I also saw like an interview with one of his co-stars on Pirates of the Caribbean, that it's describing Johnny Depp as a character actor trapped in a leading man body, and then you see the interview of Amber Heard that literally is basically saying exactly the same word to word description about Johnny Depp, and so she probably like really takes and copies, and the internet, it's so funny because all this stuff, like people are so quick, like all this stuff immediately pops up like nothing. It's so incredibly funny. My dog stepped on a bee. I mean, on TikTok, people are going crazy. I'm also on TikTok. I joined recently, or at least recently I started to be a little bit more active. So this video of my dog stepped on a bee is just going crazy everywhere. Yes, Talisha, it's true. Rihanna spoke normally, and I want to say that. But I didn't know nothing about Rihanna in that way, and only by listening to that snippet of interview, looking at her face, I was like, whoa, this woman went through this. Like, immediately believable. Like I immediately felt like somehow that she was authentic in what she was sharing. And then you see the counterpart, the standing there of Amber Heard, and it's just unbelievable. You literally cannot believe that performance. You're like, come on, this makes no sense what you're doing right there. Yeah, again, like like I said, I don't give it for granted that he's gonna win, but she's definitely guilty. She's definitely guilty. She said so many lies. I mean, this has been talked over and over at this point, and everybody agrees that the way she described the amount of beating that she received, there is literally no evidence. There's literally no real pictures of her being like blown like a bagpipe. In Italian we say zampogna, which is a bagpipe. Zampogna, for some reason in the south of Italy, we have those bagpipes, which they play music under Christmas time. And I don't know how we got those bagpipes there, which seems like more like a Scottish tradition. I don't know where it came from. Maybe it was already a Mediterranean thing, I don't know. But we have bagpipes, so when somebody's swollen, we say like, you look like a zampogna, like a bagpipe. And the way that she's claiming Johnny Depp punched her all the time out of the blue, kicked her and dragged her across multiple floors of multiple penthouses, it seems highly unlikely that there would be no pictures of her being absolutely swollen like a bagpipe. So, yeah, no bagpipe pictures. We don't believe you. I mean, I'm more swollen when I wake up in the morning than she was when she showed those pictures with a little bit of red on the face. Literally. If I wake up tomorrow morning and I go streaming, you go like, what the hell happened to this man? Yes, exactly. Johnny Depp has always like a ton of rings and stuff and bracelets. I mean, those rings, if it just backhanded her like this, literally there would be cuts. You know what I mean? there would be no way you backhand somebody with a ring and you just don't cause like literally an open lip or an open eyebrows, which is usually the first things, like a cut on the nose. It's usually the first thing you get when you get that kind of hit, and yeah, I don't like when I honestly I had, like I've said many times, I always I gave her the benefit of the doubt because I didn't know all those things. I really didn't. And then the more I heard the deposition on the stand, the more I listened to her talk, the more I went like, oh man. The more I started to side with JD, I'm like, I just don't believe this woman. I just don't believe her. Because like how injuries work. Like even like a normal person, you literally cut your finger and then it swallows up, like it is infected and it hurts for a couple of days. Even if you get a little scratch, sometimes can get a little infected and hurts. So I literally, like I tell you this, I haven't had the hearing. I haven't used the hearing in a very long time, and I think by putting it inside this morning was a little bit closed, and I think it's got a little bit infected. I actually cleaned it now, and it hurts, burns, for freak's sake, like like immediately. It's just a little thing. So like you get punched in the face. There is no way you don't have like blood in the eye or like really a gigantic nose. And the funny thing is that those things take long. It just doesn't take like 24 hours to disappear. Literally, to go back to normal, if you get a headbutt, it's gonna take at least a week, at least. At the, like, and it's nothing. Probably you still have visible signs, but to heal completely, that your face goes completely to normal, it might take up to 2-3 weeks, a month or something. So those are the reason why I was like, okay, she's bullshitting. It's just a lie. It's just not true. And it's so obvious that the contrary is true, that actually, the pictures of Johnny Depp being like literally swollen on the train there. Like when I saw the picture, I was like, wow, this guy just got hit by fucking something, Sorry for the cursing. He just got hit by something in the face. Like, yeah, like literally a swollen nose, exactly what you would expect. Like swollen under the eye, swollen on the nose, like something that seemed like to have blood in the eye. And the finger, there's a picture, literally, like there's a picture. I saw the picture without the blurring. That's actually scary. Like it literally chopped off the top portion of his finger. Like that guy could have lost his hand if the MRSA could have wasn't kept under control or whatever, for whatever reason. He could have lost his hand or his arm or something. That crazy. It actually worked out well for him. Lucky that he still has his finger and his hand and everything else. So yeah, everything is against her, really. Everything is against her. But again, I don't know if she's gonna... This is a civil case, so to my understanding, there is no real repercussions. Like if she loses, she's not gonna go to jail or anything, because I don't know if the perjury goes through the same trial, or they have to start a different trial for that. I'm not 100% sure, but probably some of you already watch some of those other YouTubers which they do this specifically, so probably it's already known. But I was reading this morning, and that's what I read so far. It doesn't seem that there are like serious implications for her so far. So sorry guys, let me read. Thank you for the super chat, Diane. The 6-4-15 photo in the dance studio is photoshopped to show Amber Heard in 3 different poses. Am I right? Sorry if you have covered this already. I was away from the screen. Oh, that I don't know. Was it Photoshop? Yeah, you never know. I mean, I'm sorry. I didn't mean to post something inaccurate. It's It's like to fact check everything. It's also difficult when you're doing a little like this. Yeah, I read that in Australia there is something going on. Yes, I also read like there's this thing about her snorting something when she's with the with with the napkin there. I also thought maybe it was maybe popper or something, because popper I think also it's this type of recreational drugs which they're used in sex, um, which they relax you or they give you a dizzy head or whatever. So I thought it could be also something like that to create a state of like a more believable state of confusion or whatever. But it also makes much more sense what you were saying here about the mental, which it's known to be used to induce crying. But if that's the case, didn't seem to work very well. I saw this meme also in the memes that I was watching today, that they type the driest thing on the planet or something like that. They search on Google, and then under that search there's the napkin of Amber Heard is the driest thing ever ever discovered, or the driest thing on the planet. Because no trace or humidity on that napkin. Yeah, like this, in a way, I was reading again that this week of posts from the trial actually could be beneficial to her team to prepare. I think maybe it would have been better, but maybe I don't know. Maybe it's also good for JD team to prepare for the cross examination. I wonder what it's going to happen with the Kate Moss story. Now we all learned that once you bring into the deposition a name, probably you can cross-reference that name that you brought in, either by asking about it, or maybe even by letting that person that was named to testify, it seems, to my understanding. I see it unlikely that Kate Moss will be testifying for Johnny Depp. I honestly, I don't think a lot of those people want to get involved. Maybe at a distance, like some others, that maybe could be more possible if they do the deposition on remotely. Maybe. I don't think she's gonna fly in and be on the stand. That would be quite. That would be quite. I mean, I have to admit, if they could call Kate Moss on the stand and she would show up, wow. I mean, this will be like the freaking trial of the century. There will be something, man. Like, there will be really, really, like, the internet, I think, is gonna melt. I was hoping that Elon Musk would show up, honestly, because he's that quirky, he's that kind of weird. So I thought perhaps he's just gonna show up, the guy. But honestly, I think that from what I understand, also Elon Musk, he seemed that he was taken by this girl. He seemed he was taken by her, but seems that she was just basically using it as a filler in between, the breaking up with JD and something else or something. I don't know. So I think she was just using him. And probably the guy fell for the narcissist, because narcissists, they're charming. And probably even Elon Musk fell for her. And we learned also through the ex-manager that deposed the Carino guy that she shared messages with him that she was still in love basically for JD. She wanted to be back with JD, and that she did not love Elon Musk. Even there is a text message of Elon Musk saying something about that the radio silence was hurting him, and he would have been happy to offer her 24/7 security, because probably she bought some kind of bullshit, like she probably told Elon Musk, the guy is beating me up, I feel insecure. And of course Elon Musk, trying to win the girl over with all his might and money, he thought like, I can offer you like protection 24/7 if you want, and I do that even if you don't want to see me no more. That's what was in the message. And I have to tell Elon Musk, man, you dodged a bullet there like really huge. You have to consider lucky that the narcissist didn't really wanna get her talents inside of you, because that could have been frightening also for her. Yeah, for him. I think, guys, I have to prepare this a little bit better, like also changing screen or something, because sometimes we get stuck with those screens here, which they're a little bit random. So the devil is in the details. Yeah, that's true. So yeah, I mean Elon Musk can consider himself lucky, because she could have messed him up for good. She could have messed him up for good, and he would have lost money. Probably would have lost more money than Johnny Depp did. So yeah. Yes, Amber and her cute feet that leaves no blood print. That's true. Oh man, it's unbelievable. People, like, when they're caught up in their delusion, I think I wonder also when she's gonna lose, what it's going to be the narrative in order to do the kind of damage control, because of course the first thing is that you're gonna try to do some kind of damage control for your image. I wonder what they're gonna run with, either case, for JD, some work is gonna come in for sure. The public has already forgiven him and embraced him again. And again, also in a human, not only like the audience towards a celebrity, but we have embraced him as people, as humans, as recognizing the suffering of another human being, of another person that has made mistakes, that it's not perfect, but that has endured enough scorn and shame and bullying and mistreatment, basically, by the media and by everybody that has accused him, So, and that, I think that's something valuable. That's something beautiful, actually. Yeah, I don't think this type of narcissist, they will ever be with somebody that it resembles their energy, because I don't think it will end up very well. I mean, if she was with a guy that had a short temper, I mean, yeah, she probably would have shown some real evidence of being beaten up, Yes, another thing that I find that, and very telling, and then I'm gonna go to sleep. It's almost midnight here. It's so amazing. There is no medical records. There is no medical records to my knowledge. I mean, if you have been beaten up so many times, and your nose is almost being broken, I don't know how many times, at least on a couple of occasions, and you have bloody feet and whatever. How come you never searched for medical attention, medical help? How come there's none of that? Like an X-ray or whatever. And of course, I know that this seems like logic, and you may think like, hey, not every abused person is seeking for medical help right away because there's shame, there's this, there's that. But a lot of those things are quite serious, like being like penetrated by a bottle of vodka, whatever, I mean, if that was true without lubrication or whatever, that can be so hurtful, can be so damaging, you know what I mean? Like, there would be definitely in need for, medical examination or help for sure. So those are another thing where you go like, come on, this is another bullshit, You're just lying to us without any... She's not even giving metadata of the pictures she's taking. So, I read the comment of today's video where I inquire whether or not the bruises could be like a Botox injection. But one of the comments said like that this person is a nurse, and she said like most likely it's not Botox, but they are self-inflicted. Which could also be, maybe either a combination of the two. Because some of the points, it really seem like, a needle getting in, somewhere, and then there's a reaction. But, if you have a needle thing and you maybe you can poke on it and scratch yourself to make it bigger, like, feels like a little bit of combination of both. Or definitely also something that you exacerbate, you exaggerate by scratching yourself, Again, all the injuries which we have pictures of are mild, to say the least. Could be definitely something that a person can do to themselves, and in no way or shape or form they resemble the outcome of her descriptions, basically, or what she described in her statements, on the stand. So yeah, probably very 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 physical person, like somebody that it's quick at snapping. There's those type of people which they easily snap on others, and usually then snap on people which they know they don't get anything back, It's like this type of dominance. Once you've found the victim, they just accept abuse, the physical abuse. They just keep going. Guys, I want to thank, please, I ask you a favor in this video when I stop the live. If you want to share information, stuff that I missed, please leave a comment. I look into it. Tomorrow I'm going to try to make another videos. I don't know if I can come live tomorrow, but I try to be more live, or maybe I take a day or two of pause. We'll see. Now, there's also the trial starting, so we will have at least another 2 weeks of this. And after that, like I said, also, I think I need some time off. I need some time off from all of this, weirdness, craziness. But more importantly, feels like we're watching something where, there is some kind of morality compass. Like there's this sense of wanting to see played out the right outcome, the just outcome. I think that's why so many are engaged in this. We feel like we are on the edge in this time of our life, where this is a little bit representative of the victory of the truth above the mischief of life, the manipulation of the system, of everything that it's bad, inherently bad in our society, in our nature, and we want to see the triumph of what it's right. So I think that's why this thing is getting so heightened, because it's so incredibly relatable, you know, and so we're really waiting for this final, for this, yeah, this final thing. So guys, anyway, please leave a comment. And again, I really want to thank you for the support. I mean, I really enjoyed seeing 850 people in the chat. I'm so incredibly grateful for that. You have no idea. I'm so happy for all of you which are new. And after also this, we can talk about things we can do on the channel. I've done plenty of music reactions from artists around the world. But we can definitely expand the channel to more stuff. You know, my desire is to continue being a creative person here on YouTube, sharing my music, sharing stuff, keep growing. So there is definitely space. We'll figure out the way later on. So with also the new audience in mind, after this whole trial is ended. And as I always say, always spread love. I wish you a good afternoon, a good morning, or a good evening, whatever you are. And I'll see you tomorrow, guys, all right? Take care of yourself. And I'm out. Ciao. Where is it going? End stream, right there. Boom. Boom.